Welcome to the Avanti Woman podcast. With each episode, each conversation, we aim to empower, connect, and build women to move forward, feel confident, and thrive in healthcare, finance, entrepreneurship, and philanthropy. We're glad you're here.
Good morning to all you phenomenal women listening in. Nairi and Sarah here with the Avanti Woman podcast, and we're excited to begin our new series on women entrepreneurs and their success stories. A month ago, we had a 4-part series on entrepreneurship, the science of it, and what are the proven strategies that drive an entrepreneur. Coach Rayana Starr with Catalyst Coaching Solutions dove in deep on these elements. If you haven't yet, you can listen to the series by visiting our YouTube channel and all Apple Podcast streaming channels. Well, today we're excited to hear the story of one amazing self-made woman entrepreneur, Risper Wangari. Stories are what teach us the best way. That's how we learn. So I'm very excited to learn about Risper. And Sarah, I know you and Risper go back and you've had a career together. So why don't you introduce us?
So I'm very pleased to introduce Risper. Risper and I actually started when she was a management consultant and I was the client in banking. We're actually doing some enterprise level integrations and acquisition. The organization was going through a lot of change. We had hired her organization, and I thought Risper was extremely intelligent. She's still extremely intelligent. She's wonderful to work with. And we've both since left our organizations, but we've stayed in contact. And I thought that Risper would be a fantastic individual to speak about her experience and how she got to where she is and the choices that she made and the path that took her to where she is today. So Risper, thank you very much for joining us and welcome to the Avanti Woman podcast and this series.
Thank you. Wow. Thank you, Sarah. I'm like, who's that person? You know?
I'm so glad you joined. It's so nice to see you. Although you're in a different state. We used to be in the same state for a while.
Thank you.
But tell us. Tell us about your background, which is fascinating, how you came to this country and both your professional and your personal background, please.
Absolutely. Wonderful. Thank you so much for having me on the Avanti Woman podcast. What an honor. Thank you so much. So my name is Risper, like Sarah and Mary have said, and I am originally from Kenya. And I came to the US in 2001, and it's been a long journey, and it's been probably one of the hardest things I've ever done in my entire life. And probably I would do it again because it's really made me who I am today. Yeah. And so I came over here to go to school, like most, came to go to school because there was more opportunity here than in my country back then. So from an economic point of view, just to better my life and my family's lives. So came out here for school and then stayed and went and graduated, started the management consulting career. And then along the way, felt a tug in my heart to change into a different line of work. And so, so that's kind of where I am right now. I moved states, so I'm now in the great state of Texas. And just kind of, it's been quite the adventure being in this country and being a female as well, and being from a different nation. It's just been quite the adventure so far.
Risper, tell us, how did you leave Kenya? Did you leave with your family? Did you leave alone? I'm fascinated by immigrants who just leave everything behind, take that leap of faith, come here and really build themselves, and some of them build empires.
Larry, I came with 2 bags.
Wow. That gives me chills.
Yeah, I came with 2 suitcases and that was all I had. 2 bags on myself, by myself.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah,
Strength.
yeah.
Strength. So tell us now, you took a leap of faith,
Mhm.
Risper, and there was something that inspired you. I know you're extremely intelligent and you are good at what you do. You're one of those people that will succeed in whatever you choose to do. You have that gift. But what inspired you to take that
Mhm.
leap of faith to become an entrepreneur?
It's a really good question. So the leap of faith, I think it started a long time ago because when I was growing up, my parents were entrepreneurs.
Mm.
My parents owned their own store and I worked there every summer or whenever we had holiday breaks. So that was kind of, I grew up in that world where my parents did. My father quit his job pretty young and just started ventured on his own. So I think I saw that model for me. It was kind of
Mhm.
there in the background. So I had that in my upbringing. So that helped. And then also I felt, when something isn't working, like I feel like as women, we have intuition, we
Yes.
have
Mhm.
a gut, we have a sense of what I'm supposed to be doing with my life in this season, whether I'm supposed to have kids now, whether I'm supposed to do this. We have that gut, that sense inside of us that says this is where I'm supposed to be next, right? And so I would say I was following that leading inside of me that said, okay, we've had a pretty successful corporate career. And I always had the sense of there is more, there is more, there is more than what I'm doing right now. And so I wanted to have that freedom for myself and also to do something that was, I don't know, I felt like this is my mission to do something that will live something for the world, to not just make money, but also to better community, to better the world, to better my own family. So that was what led me to finally be like, okay, I got to take the leap. As scary as it is, it's time to do this.
So basically, Risper, you were in banking, right? Okay. And you had a phenomenal career. You were making really good money, but that passion, that purpose, something was lacking where you wanted to just take that leap of faith, go to
Correct.
the move to the right where everyone was going to the left, basically,
Mhm.
and just build a life where you could build freedom and legacy. Would you say that freedom and legacy were the elements that inspired you more than making money?
Absolutely. Most definitely, yes. Because I mean, I was making a lot of money, but I was not happy.
Mm.
I was dissatisfied because I think I quit my job. It's probably the biggest promotion of my career.
Mm-hmm.
And I just felt so, yeah, I had a lot of money, but I was so dissatisfied within myself. I couldn't do it. It was like a fire inside of me. Like, no, 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 no,
Yeah.
no. We gotta do this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So definitely purpose and freedom.
So
So
how did go ahead.
no, go ahead,
Go.
Sarah.
So how did you decide? How did you find that purpose inside of you? How did you say, okay, I know I don't like this corporate side anymore, or I enjoyed it at one point because we're all evolving and I enjoyed it at one point, but I'm now at a place that I need to move on. How did you decide what to move on to? How did you find that purpose inside to say, this is what I'm moving on to?
It's a really, really good question. I think that's the $1 million question for a lot of us, right? Like, how do I know I want to move, but where do I move to and what is that? What's my purpose? If I knew it, I'd do it, right? Um, I think a few things come to mind. There's a saying that says that what you're looking for is also looking for you.
Wow.
And so I think I have a lot of faith in that if I'm looking, something is inside of me is calling, then that other thing is also like we're magnetizing, we're attracting each other, right? And so for me, my journey to finding it came from my own journey, right? Oftentimes our biggest pain is where comes from, again, our callings sometimes come from that, because I've been through this path, then I can lead somebody else through this path, right? And
Absolutely.
so, right, because I've been through this way, then I know I can help somebody in this way. And so through my own journey of healing and just seeking answers for my own self, seeking answers for my own mental health, my own emotional and body, physical health, in that process, I just felt like, oh my goodness, I have gotten so much freedom and liberation. And I just felt in my heart, man, this is something I'd like to offer to the world. I felt an invitation say, hey, Risper, how about this? How about you offer this to the world?
Mhm.
And so for me, that was the process of finding out what my call was, what the next thing needed to be.
That's wonderful. I love
So,
that.
so tell us, Risper, what is it that you do today?
Yeah, it's a really good question. I do a few things. I've become a jack of a few trades. And so I'm a licensed professional counselor. And so I provide mental health services to couples, individuals. I specialize in, I'm an emotionally focused therapist. So I work with a lot of couples in distressed relationships. I also work with complex trauma. So just folks with trauma. And I also love working with workplace related stress, with executives and just leaders in their organizations, because they have also unique mental health needs. And so that's the one thing I do. And then the second thing I do, which I feel like I should just say, I'm in health and wellness all around, because I also have a health and wellness business, which I help people just to be, healthy, because we're one, our bodies, our souls, our spirits, it's all one. If I'm emotionally stressed, it's going to show up on my body. So it's all integrated. And then the last thing I do is I'm in real estate. So
Oh, wow.
I've always had a passion for real estate. So I'm a real estate investor as well.
Fantastic. I love that.
That's amazing.
Which is something that I love as well, real estate. That's great. So the other thing that women always, I think, there's so many hurdles when you're an entrepreneur. There's so many of those the jumps that we need to make. What are some of those obstacles that you overcome between, and I'm going to say you're two, because, businesses, one is all about the health and wellness, which is emotional, psychological, and physical. And then your real estate investments, which is, with our backgrounds, it's all about maximizing the assets that you have. But what were those obstacles that you overcame? What are those obstacles? But then how did you overcome those obstacles?
Yeah, it's a really good question, Sarah, because I think the first thing was the fear, right?
Yeah.
Like, am I really going to take a leap of faith and just jump in? So I think the first one was the fear. And I think for that one, I would just say that the passion and the freedom and the purpose was greater than the fear, because I don't think the fear ever goes away. You just do it afraid.
Yeah.
Very
Because,
true.
if it's important, you're going to be afraid because it's important, right? And so
That's a good point.
Yeah, it's just knowing the fear is going to be there, but you do it anyway, right?
Right.
And then the other thing I've learned along the way is that it's a mindset thing. Like I needed to learn how to manage my mind differently, and to really nourish my mind and build myself up in ways as an employee versus being an entrepreneur. The mindset is completely different. So as an employee, I have my list of things to do. I go to the office. I know what I'm doing. It's pretty, I've been doing that for a long time. I know how to do that. As an entrepreneur, I need to lead myself. I need to, go do the research, go do everything that I need to do. I need to wake up at a certain time. I need to, all the things. I need to lead myself, my time, my money, everything,
Right.
And so the shift from, I think the biggest thing has been the mindset and working on my mind to really, I don't know, to be able to have the courage to say, okay, we're going to do this. This is what we need to do. I need to have a vision down. I need to have the strategy down. I need to have my daily plan down because nobody's telling me. I don't have a
Right.
boss who's like, or a performance evaluation at the end of the year. No, it's all I have to manage myself. So that has been a big, 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 big aha for me.
Nighty, do you remember Rihanna Starr in our podcast said this?
I was just going to say that. Actually, what she said, and tell us if you believe this is true, she said, in an entrepreneur's life, your schedule is your boss. So you got to set that schedule up in a way that you need to follow, and that dictates your day, basically.
She's absolutely
Sarah?
right.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's nice when, I thought how nice that you got the Risper who is experiencing it, and then you've got the coach, Rihanna Starr, who's saying, and it's all coming together.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. This is why, I go back and say that stories are the best teachers, because you are the live, animation, and you are it. You're walking it. You're living it. And so your story is the best teacher. So, sometimes I wonder with entrepreneurs and successful entrepreneurs, we always, look up to them. We talk about the success stories, but really what fascinates me is, what was going on when you were, let's say, staying up all night, or you couldn't fall asleep. You were paralyzed with fear, and you just didn't know how to wake up in the morning and keep going when there was, shortage of money. I mean, there are times, those are the times we go through. So Risper, tell us, what was it, that one ingredient, that little force from inside? Because, knowledge and so forth only takes you so far. There's got to be more to that. So what would you say that was inside that kept you, despite these sleepless nights and the fears and everything, just get up and push?
Right. I think a few things come to mind, right? I don't know. Ed Milet has this book that is called The Power of One More. And it's like just the one more. Just try one more.
Power of one more.
Just one more, just the one more that will make a difference.
Yes.
So,
I like that.
And so it's like I'm like, what if I quit now? And then maybe the next step I'd have taken would have been the one,
I'm chuckling because that's actually, I always say that in the back of my head too. It's like, okay, I want to do that one more. So then I don't look back in the future and say, I didn't give that one last chance, or I didn't give it my all. And it's interesting because you find the strength and you find the determination when you have that mindset. And I agree with you. Mindset is so important of having it. There's so many books that I think all of us have read where there's that commonality of mindset and the way you think.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So what was the second
the
thing?
the other one I was gonna say is my faith, because there is no way I could do this without my faith in God, and just because I can't, there is no way. Because at least I know that I have a fallback. Like, okay, well, I know I have somebody looking out for me. I know that. So that gives me the hope and the courage to keep going on. And then I feel like I have a huge calling upon my life. And I had one person say that I just adopted this saying that I am an ambassador of my bloodline.
Wow. Chills. I am an ambassador
of my
bloodline.
Right.
Wow.
And I was sent here from my ancestors, from God, to come and fulfill a purpose and a calling that will forever change my family and my, generations to come. And so when I think of that, then I'm like, I can't quit.
Wow. I'm going to cry. This really hit home. This is what Oprah says, tweet moment. Definitely. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That
I'm crying with you.
Yeah.
Because I have all of this witnesses around me, and they're like, Risper, keep going, keep going, keep going. We're cheering you on. So it's like, take away the option to quit, no matter how hard, no matter how hard it gets. Just quitting is not an option. So just keep going.
This is why you and I connected, your authenticity, Risper. You know, but I love this. You're the ambassador to your how did you say that? It's a bloodline.
Yeah.
I mean, you are an ambassador to your bloodline. That's amazing. That's the strength that comes from it. I take it as strength that comes to, you know, with you as you're taking the steps through it. So tell us a little bit. So I think that, you know, it kind of leads to the question, and I think you may have even answered it, is where do you get the vigor and the passion to keep going? But I think your faith in God and your belief that's where your vigor and your passion come from. And it's so clear. I mean, we see the emotion and we see the strength that comes through that.
You know, on that note, Sarah, I want to add, because I still have chills from what you said, Risper, but I did read this one quote that I had posted it on my Instagram because it just hit home. And I think you would agree with that. It says, "You are here to fulfill the dreams of the people who came before you. You've been paid for."
That's beautiful.
Good.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's
beautiful. It's like, I don't know, when I hear what you shared, both of you guys shared, it's like I need to sit back and just meditate, you know, think about it and understand all the emotion that goes with those words, you know. Go ahead, Nairi.
No. I mean, I can go far in this topic, but you know, I just want to acknowledge an immigrant woman from Kenya, a Black woman, okay, an entrepreneur, a self-made woman who did it by herself on her own because she had a higher calling, she had her faith, and a huge purpose that is moving her forward. And all of these culminations together have resulted in a phenomenal success story. I mean, it's wow, right? Big wow. I am fascinated and I'm so honored to have you on our podcast. I think a lot of women listening in will be inspired by your story, Risper.
And knowing Risper, I'll tell you, she's very humble. So there's a lot. I cannot stress her intelligence, her ability to connect with people, her ability to get to the root cause, to analyze, to deliver. I witnessed it working with Risper side by side. And when she walked into a room, it was a ray of sunlight walking into that room.
We sure can see that. Yeah.
So
wow, you guys are making me this like,
wow. It's the truth. It's the truth. So if I were to ask, and these, my last question, and they kind of go hand in hand, lessons learned, or what advice would you give to women who want to do the same thing but are scared to take that leap? So lessons learned and or advice, what would you share with those ladies to inspire them to take that leap?
Yeah, I would say if you're listening on the other end of the podcast found you, or you found the podcast, you found each other because you were meant to find each other. And this is for you, that you are you are worthy of living your best life. That dream that you have on the inside of you is there because it was placed there inside of you. It just happened by accident, but suddenly I just feel like this is what I need to do. And so you are worthy of having the life that you're dreaming about.
Yeah.
You're completely worthy of, moving despite the fear. You are worthy of having that life. And it's scary. It's so scary. And you're completely worth it. Once you say your yes, everything that you need is already in place, and you deserve it. Yeah.
Once you say
beautiful.
your yes. Wow, that is so beautiful, Risper.
Thank you.
We are so
I
moved.
love that.
Wow.
Very moved.
Yeah, speechless.
Mm.
But
Yeah.
thank you so much for joining us again. This was I would say I'm almost enlightened by your presence, honestly. And Sarah, any final words?
Well, I am speechless as well.
Yeah.
As much as Risper and I met back 2010,
Mhm.
and I am speechless. I always knew you were deep, but for women, I think Risper's advice is spot on. There is a reason. There's a magnet that had you listening to this podcast, and to understand that voice inside that says you need to take this leap. And as scary as it is, and there's always fear, that there's a strength that is beyond, that comes for you to move on. And so many women have come before us as entrepreneurs. We can list so many in various industries, from fashion to beauty to entertainment, but now in technology and um, big industries and investments and so forth. And they've spanned so many decades. And you too could be one of those women. And God knows where it leads you and where it takes you, and how many other women you inspire, and to take that leap of faith and to listen to that voice inside of you.
Beautiful. Risper, your last sentence, just home run message.
Uh, well, I would first thank you guys for having me. Thank you so much for having me. And then I just say, go get it. Go get it.
Go get it.
Mhm.
You heard that, ladies. Go get it. Do not be afraid. Just follow your calling, follow your true self. Your true potential lies beyond all of your fears. Just press on forward. Thank you so much for listening in. Follow us at the Avanti Women on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and all Apple podcast streaming channels. Thank you so much, and take care of each other, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you for joining us today. For more engagement, you can find us at The Avanti Woman on all social and media platforms. Follow us on Instagram, join our community group on Facebook to chat, subscribe to our YouTube for our latest videos. You can rate us 5 stars on Spotify and leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. Thank you for helping us reach even more Avanti women just like you.